Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. Our, I welcome Ramey and Jessica. It's always good to be with you. And our special guest today is Brother Sage, and I'm going to read his bio for you. Brother Sage is a seasoned and esteemed holistic wellness practitioner expert since 1979. He has dedicated his life to spreading education and awareness of wellness and urine therapy. He is an author of numerous holistic wellness books, of which 6 books are on urine therapy. Through his events, classes, and coaching, he offers holistic wellness services and fosters holistic wellness and spiritual harmony. I love that. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. And I'd like to start by just asking you to share part of your story with us, whatever you want to share about your life and how you got started in your work.
Well, I'm a typical guy from Texas who grew up trying to figure his way what life was all about in a household with a brother and a sister and a mom and a dad, and they lived the way they did back in the day, and then it ended up it was right after college. A buddy and I were working a job together in Austin, Texas, painting a motel, and he decides to go join the Air Force. And I found an old gal pal, and she says, join this raw food community. So I did, without knowing that that's going to change my life and set my course in front of me. So I became 100% raw fooder in 1977 in Austin. It was right next to the Armadillo World Headquarters, if you guys remember that. In either case, it set my life on the most incredible course, which still influences me today and anchors me into raw foods and fruitarianism because of that. And so the influences were Victoris Kovinskas and Dr. Ann Wigmore. And then as soon as I got out of there, I was really thirsty for more knowledge, because at this place that we had, there was teachers and yoga instructors and positive thinkers and gurus, and everybody would walk in and out. We had a restaurant and a juice bar and a compost and a whole garden. It was just a beautiful place for me to get started. A love affair with community and nature. So that stayed with me. And because of that, it's helped steer me in the right direction. And right after getting out of that, I was still really hungry and thirsty because I met all these healers. And so I ended up going to a rebirthing convention and learning with 500 conscious breathers what the power of the breath was all about. And then I ended up studying with Louise Hay and I've been a Course in Miracles student since 1980. So I have all these things that have been built in me. The I Am Teaching, Saint Germain, raw foods, food combining. And then all that has been part of my holistic practice for 45 years. I actually started in 1979. And it's been an incredible journey. I've worked on probably 35,000 people in my career, doing a lot of foot massage and reflexology, and on and on. But in 2017, I discovered that, I started urine therapy in 1994. 1994, there is no social media platform. There is nobody to validate that you weren't crazy. And so, my wife at the time, Catherine, thought it was my hobby. It's your thing. You do what you want. And I did not have the confidence and certainty about this practice and the subject that I do today, or I could have saved her from cancer. But that's a whole nother story. So I discovered there was a whole buzz on social media in 2017. And before I realized it, I'm downloading this manuscript for what became a classic book, The Healing Water from Within. That book was born, and within 2 weeks, I'm at a Water of Life convention in Las Vegas, sitting at an author signing table, being asked to come on the stage. Within about 30 days, 30, 40, 50 radio shows had me on, television stations. My whole life went from holistic practitioner to worldwide teacher. And all that when it spun, it kept going viral. And then 5 more books came through me, and they were translated in various languages. And as much as content I've put out there, and I've said, God, have I done enough? Have I worked it? Have I told enough people? And then here comes more talks and more consultations. So this is my life's work right now.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad. I saw you on Jonathan Otto. It was like a Secrets of Cancer, I think, was the program, aired back in March, I believe. I started urine therapy myself in December, but I didn't know much about it. Someone had mentioned it, and it resonated a lot with me. And so I just started it, but I learned a lot through that program. You were on there, and David Avocado Wolf, and brother group. Yeah. Or yeah. Doctor group. Yeah. So awesome. So, I guess what's the biggest health benefit of urine?
The biggest health benefit is that you get to reclaim and heal your body by yourself. You get to use this incredible nutritional powerhouse. By the way, we've discovered, thanks to a university in Canada, that the list of identified ingredients in human urine is 5,661. I do have the link to the study if any of your viewers want it, or you can have it for the description. But what happens is the body basically reads the plasma before it goes into the kidneys and in the nephron system, where there's like a million something chambers of filters. It reads it, see if there's anything it's missing, any of the cells need to be restored, if there's any contamination, if there's any threat to the body. And what it does is it immediately builds a remedy, an antibody. It sterilizes, it immerses it or alchemizes it, and it's now the urine. It's now your perfect medicine. So the best benefit is to be able to take control of your health and your life by yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, but for sure. So I'd heard two different things. I'm reading a book. Can't remember. I should have checked again what the author's name was, but the book was written in Indian. Yeah, in India. And I don't think there's an English. Well, I have the English translation as a PDF. But so it's a book on urine therapy. And I've heard some people say that you should let your urine run for a little bit before you catch it, in case there's, debris or dirt or something, right? And other people say catch every drop. So what do you say?
Well, I would like to debunk the theory. That seems to be a popular word this day. I'm the whistleblower on urine. Who knew? I get paid to talk about piss. I mean, it's a great job. So this all goes back, guys. It goes back 5,000 years to a sacred Hindu script known as the Damar Tantra. And it's easy to find the PDF of it right now. It's been around for quite some time. But in there, Shiva and Parvati, have you heard of these deities? Okay, so Shiva is basically laying out a 9-year program to his beloved Parvati, how to heal everything, how to change everything, how to collect the urine, what kind of vessels to use to collect it, what herbs to add to it. And at the end of these 9-year program, you can achieve physical immortality. Well, there's a verse in there, two primary verses you need to know about. One verse says, you need to just use the middle of the flow because it's symbolic of a snake and the head and the tail could harm you. And then the second verse clarifies, and this is a part that people kind of like skim over. It's based on tradition and superstition. Right? 5,000 years later, we know every drop is sterile and precious. Don't waste time trying to jockey yourself over a place to catch it. Just all of it's valuable.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
Do you yourself add herbs, or at times maybe, or what herbs do you recommend if people want to?
I'd say it's an intuitive thing. I'm more inclined to use whatever herbs are around or Ayurvedic type herbs, but I basically take my water as is, unless I'm using it for something else, like soaking my mung beans and sprouting, or, there's all kinds of uses more than just the oral use.
Interesting.
Yeah. Carla, were you talking about using it on skin, or where did I hear that recently?
I've heard you use it like on your face and neck are the most important skin to put it on. Is that?
Well,
what you say?
I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to say no. By the way,
Okay.
there's a lovely chart that I had a graphics designer produce, and I'd love to share with any of the folks here. It's the Shivambu Wisdom Chart, and what it does is it highlights the key points of why this water is what it is and how it works. The number one thing on that chart is that Orin or Shivambu. You guys are familiar with that word?
Yeah.
All right, Shivambu is an intuitive elixir. Some like the word medicine, but a lot of people think the medical thing is a fake. So I use the word elixir, or a remedy. All right. So however you want to use this water will be perfect. You can't mess it up. You can't go wrong with it. The important skin, I would say, on the body is all of it. But since most people have issues with gut health, liver health, lung health, to make sure that you use a washcloth and cover these areas as well.
That's good. Yeah,
Uh,
that's good to know.
If we ever get a chance to get into protocols, in all my books, I teach the 24 topical protocols. And one that's near to me, because I've been doing foot massage forever, is the foot soak.
Okay.
Right? Get yourself a soft Tupperware, Rubbermaid, whatever, or a Pyrex glass dish, and soak your feet in your Urine for 30 minutes. And that reaches all the reflexology systems throughout the body.
Oh, cool. So do you need aged urine or fresh urine? Okay.
Here's another thing to get another clarification here. By the way, nobody has yet determined what is the parameters or standard for measuring aged urine. Okay, by the way, I changed the word because the human language always needs an upgrade in my head. So I call it, on my writing, is evolved urine or evolutionary urine, because it's metaphor for us as humans. We're always evolving, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So depending if you read who's who, whatever the sources are of these teachings, John W. Armstrong, who wrote the book Water of Life that came out in 1944, he suggested 4 days was the determining factor for aged urine. Dr. Rosalind Hansen out in Georgia, I think she lives, she says it should be 9 months because she equates it with gestation and the birth time frame. However, another way to approach it is at the moment you collect it, it is in evolving state. It has a consciousness of itself. Urine is actually in a category all of itself. It evolves. So every day it's evolving urine. So whatever day you want to grab it, collect it, date it, that's your aged urine.
Okay. Well, very nice. That's good to know.
The difference between fresh and aged, obviously, this beauty is 20 minutes old. Very good year. All right. So whether you want to use fresh or aged on any of your applications is intuitive. It's optional. However, I would caution people, because when you're using it for an eye cup or an eye rinse or a nose sniff and drink, up the nose, or even an enema, there's a 3-second sting.
Oh, good to know.
All of a sudden you go, oh, it's not for me. Oh, it burns. No, it's gone, but it takes a few seconds for the adjustment. And
good to know.
People usually use fresh for eye washes, eye rinses.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
The back to the foot soak. What do you mix it with? Because obviously I couldn't fill that. So do you just use, what's that?
Lucky for you, Jessica, you don't have to.
You don't have to fill it. Just the bottoms of your feet.
Well, ultimately, you want enough to cover up to the ankle, because in reflexology, that's the reproductive areas.
Okay.
Right. If you're getting all the everything down the arches, below down to the plantar pads at the bottom of the feet, you're covered. But you want to get at least up to the ankle. So you're looking at 3/4 of a gallon to a gallon.
Oh.
Now, don't be thrown off, because if you don't have one, these are 2-gallon containers.
Okay.
You like my new slogan?
Urine therapy does have body. Good. Yeah.
You guys are welcome to borrow this. I have a copyright on it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I borrowed it from the milk industry because they stopped milk.
Yeah.
All right. So if you don't have enough to fill it up, you can dilute it a little bit with distilled water.
Distilled. Okay.
Some people will even put in hotter tap water because they don't want to shock their feet and step in cold urine. Whichever kind of water you use, it's going to still be effective, but it's going to be more of a diluted version, which means it's kind of like homeopathic version.
Yeah, that's what I wondered. Yeah. Okay.
Do what you can, even if you just have enough to cover just up to the bones on the top, the metatarsals.
Mm-hmm.
You can just rub the rest up and down your leg.
Okay. Or like you could collect it for one day and use it, then rinse your feet in it the next, or soak your feet in it the next. Yeah.
You got
Get
good
enough.
intuition. Yeah. That's how it works.
Okay. Well, interesting. I had a question right on my.
I know I interrupted you, Carla.
So I'll go with my next question, which I remember. Okay,
Please.
I started using it, well, just drinking it, and then someone said, well, you should try it as an eye rinse, and I've been trying to heal my eyes holistically for many years, and I still have to wear glasses. And I keep thinking that I'll find something sometime that will make my eyes right again, right? And so, and I don't have astigmatism or anything. It's just, farsighted and nearsighted, and I think it's the muscles of the eyes that get contracted, so they don't work as easily as they're supposed to. Anyway, so I've been using eye drops, right? And then after maybe a week or two of using eye drops, then I got this swelling in my right eyelid. And so it swells up on the top, but it puts pressure on the eye because I can feel it like kind of like a little scratch type of feeling. And so whenever I stopped urine therapy, or the eye drops, then it eventually kind of goes away. But then say when I had to go on a vacation or something, I didn't want to keep doing it while I was gone for a few days. And so then that eyesore went away. But then when I get home and started again, then it comes back. And so the last time was just a week or two ago. So I decided, well, I'd stop until I had time to ask you if what I'm doing is okay or not.
Yeah, you're doing great, and I would suggest a couple more topical protocols. First of all, just a reminder.
Thank you. I get nervous.
Oh, we all love you. So this is an eye cup. You seen these?
Oh, I have one. Yeah, I have an antique one.
All right, they're usually glass. Sometimes they sell them in hard plastic. You can get them on Amazon, sometimes at a health food store. And these are awesome because they're auricular. They're designed to shape of the eye. So all you do is create the suction, bada boom. Hold it there, blink, keep your eyes open. When you're done, change eyes, do the other eye. And then when it's all over, you can just pour it over the cornea, pour it over your eyeball.
Okay.
Now, the advanced version. For you people want to know what I do in my spare time, I'm always looking for new gadgets, equipment. And so we came across this from a buddy in Montana, George Johnson. He says, no, you might as well do both eyes at once. So he came up with a goggles method. And these puppies work incredible. You fill them up, put the suction on, you can keep your eyes open. You can almost have a flashback of being in mom's belly. Because you look through your urine and your amniotic fluid. By the way, I want to come back to that. I'm segueing just a little bit. More and more people who are called to this practice have shared that they have memories of drinking urine in their mom's womb, of being in the amniotic fluid, which is a combination of their urine, mom's blood, oxygen, et cetera, et cetera. And they came out with beautiful baby bodies. The question I always ask people, say, oh, it's a waste product. We all know it's a waste product. I say, well, how come it was sterile and it helped your fetus develop while you're in the womb, but when you're outside the womb, why is it not sterile?
Yeah.
All right. So eye health is related to liver function, right? We're not going to go into metaphysics about what you want to see, what you don't want to see. But if you will either do foot soaks, particularly the right foot where the liver is, or put a compress over the liver, right? And or give yourself or have someone give you an Urine massage, it'll really help benefit eyesight.
Awesome. I will try it. The other thing was when I got that sore, then I would use like blue painter's tape and soak a cotton or dip a cotton ball in the urine and put it there and tape it on so I could sleep with it on all night.
Yeah.
And I think it helped. But should I with that eyesore, should I just keep going and let the sore run its course, or what do I do? What do you think?
Intuition is going to guide you.
Okay, very good.
Well, the answer is yes, and you could just simply throughout the day dip a cotton ball in your urine and dab it on anytime you feel like it.
Right. Yeah, I did that. Sometimes I put the compress on 2 or 3 times a day. Okay. All right. I'll see what happens on that.
Okay, good. I also want to point something out. I have a lot of things to share. What kind of time do we have for the show?
Usually we run 45 minutes to an hour. So what time is it now? We have over half an hour left or something, and we can run a little longer if you want to. So.
Okay. So I have clients that reach out to me from all over the world because they're scared, they're confused, they're nervous, they got no answers from the medical profession. And so the urine comes on their radar. Urine therapy shows up on their radar, and they've seen me on a show. They reach out, we do a little session. Well, there's a lot of times that people say, well, I have this condition and that disease, and I'm not even going to name them, but you get the idea. It could be cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, autism, whatever it is. The first thing you want to tell them is that name was implanted. The name and the idea and the vibe of that name was planted in your mind by the doctor. When he did his thing, he decided to name it, and that empowers it. You don't have this, your body's in a cycle of restoring, regenerating, and purification. And so that helps to take a lot of weight off people. Oh, I'm not going to die from this. There's hope. So a lot of things we do when we work with our clients is to find out their level of commitment to living. And if they're going to commit to being in a state of constant work on themselves and healing choices and not doing the bad eating, and basically turning their life around on their own terms.
Yeah. So do you recommend, like, if you had a serious symptoms or, your body was really working hard to cleanse itself, another way of saying it, then do you recommend like a fast so that you would only drink the urine and water or something? Or I suppose it changes for each person, maybe.
Yeah, it's case by case, Carla, because everybody's in a different relationship with food. Everybody's in a different relationship with their supplements, with their prescription medicine, and those are their safety nets until they can trust that their body knows more than their mind does, and they can actually heal themselves. So I'll have the conversation to check in with them to see what their level of comfort is. If they can fast, great. If they can eat fruit all day, great. If they're willing to do urine enemas, even better. So it all depends on how much they can handle at any one point in time.
Okay, well, that's good to know too. Yeah.
We don't want to scare people away.
Right. Well, and talk about scare, me needing to breathe, right? Getting nervous. It's like, well, I hadn't told any of my family. My husband knows, but I haven't told anyone else I've been doing this for 6 or 8 months. And it's like, oh, whoa, what if they watch the video? And they're gonna think I'm more weird than I was, right?
Well,
that's fine. That's just the old stories going through.
Good noticing. You do know that what people think about you is their business. It ain't yours.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's not my problem.
Not your problem. And since Spirit has been working overtime to wake people up, it's no shock after a while when someone comes up to you and you're having a mild, simple conversation and they bring up the subject. Hey, have you ever heard about urine therapy? I said, funny you should ask. And we could go deeper into it, but that's being unattached to things, you know, being open and available in every moment with how it's going to present itself. And if you study teachings like Matt Kahn, ever heard of him? He says, whatever arises in you, love that.
Yeah.
Because there's a gift in everything, but go ahead.
There is. No, there is. Yes. Very, very true. Yeah. And I can talk about it to all my clients and most of my friends. It's just the old stuff with family. Still working through that, you know.
Well, here's a couple of responses you can borrow.
Okay.
And this is, I've written it up in the last 2 books. It's particularly dominant in the manual for urine therapy teachers. And in there, there's a whole chapter on how to talk to doubters, hectics, naysayers, because me being on the public media, social media for so long, I've gotten all kinds of things thrown at me. So I know they haven't done the research, so it doesn't faze me anymore. So when someone comes up to you and says, don't you know it's a waste product, your body's eliminating, the first question out of your mouth should be, where did you get that idea from? You'll find out, like most people on the planet, they just repeat what they heard without doing any due diligence or digging in.
Right. It's just what they grew up doing.
Exactly. Another question I didn't start asking up until 2020 was, do you think that doctors have ever lied to us about anything? Oh, blah, blah, blah. I said,
yeah.
Lie to us about our body fluids.
Yeah. Well, and chances are they were lied to, right?
Well, they were taught it, or they know it and they don't want to lose their license in their lifestyle.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So it could be offensive.
I used urine therapy 15, 20 years ago to, at that time I had a lot of sinus allergies. And so one lady told me, well, to rub DMSO on your arm and then urine on top of that, so that the DMSO would take it in. And so I did that. I didn't notice anything. I probably did it for, 8 weeks or something, probably didn't notice anything. So I had stopped using it. But is DMSO, would that even be needed with it?
A good way to answer that question is yes or no, because if the people have gotten to an understanding and knowingness that this water is perfect in all kinds of ways, that's one state of mind. The other one is people feel the need for complementary modalities to enhance the urine or to complement it and assist it in driving it into the body and the bloodstream, kind of like DMSO. Use that. There's the beautiful thing about this water, and this is another topic on the Shivamba Wisdom Chart, is it works regardless of your considerations. I mean, let me go a little broader into that. It works regardless of whether you use a man's urine, a woman's urine. It doesn't matter if it's an adult or a child, a healthy person, a sick person, a different species, a different race. It works regardless, and we have lots of stories and testimonials floating around of people whose dogs were healed by bathing in their urine bath. People who have given it to their birds and rubbed it on their cat's fur have all recovered. The hip pain went away. The stem cells did magic. So it works regardless of it. It even works without dogma or rules. It's so freaking simple. The people have a hard time are still dealing with the medical program about dosing, timing, what to eat, da da da. It's easier than that.
Just do it.
Just drink it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess being nurse trained in a university, I'm working through that, as Carla was talking about working through her stuff. But I do just want to ask, a lot of people are on lots of interesting medications, including like chemotherapy and stuff. Is that all filtered through, and is that still a good option for, in your opinion, or the research that you've done?
Yeah. from my studies, it's going to transmute whatever is found in the plasma when it's running through the body.
Okay.
However, we're dealing with a level of comfort for the person's mind. If they set up the doctor as the expert of their body and their authority over their health, they're likely to do what the doctor tells them to do until they're ready to break off or break free of it. So I give them a little wiggle room and tell them, why don't you do the urine on an hour window on either side of the medication, either side of recreational drugs, either side of anything that you're concerned about. Until such time as the brain chemistry changes and they feel stronger, they may just start practicing a day without the drug, a day with none of those drugs, and see each day, oh, I really don't need it anymore. And then they can be free of it.
Yeah.
All right. Ramey, would you tell the story of what your dad had said about urine? Wasn't it your dad?
Mm-hmm. Not much. All he ever said was when he got ill, his mom, his whole family would drink urine and they would heal. Yeah.
But he wasn't in the United States, right? He didn't grow up here.
No. He was in former Yugoslavia. He was a farm boy, and that's what they did. It was just good medicine. Mm-hmm. Good medicine is what he called it.
So Brother Sage, when in your history reading and stuff of it, when did it not become used in the Western world?
I'm glad you brought that up. 1917, a organization which everybody's heard of, the Rockahuna fellers. I won't say its whole name, but those guys decided to own everything. They put ownership on the international health industry. They have ownership on the education system. And so what happened was in 1917, when they set that foundation in motion, they decided they didn't want any competition. So they were going after alternative healthcare practitioners, wrecking their business, their reputations. And they started using the word urine. Right? According to Andrew Norton Weber, who is a well-known outspoken voice on distilled water and urine therapy, said they brought that to the world so they could darken our understanding of it so we wouldn't really know what it is. So even the word sounds medical or disgusting. So prior to that, it was all over the place and it never stopped. What they couldn't stop is 5,000 years of generation after generation practicing, teaching it, using it. So that momentum has been building regardless. And here we are at 2024. We've come up with statistics. You're going to love this. We've come up with 500 million people in 50 nations doing urine therapy. And those are only the ones that we've been able to, collect data on. And a lot of the stuff that was practiced since the Dhamma Tantra, even before Dhamma Tantra, wasn't written down. It was passed on word to mouth, ear to ear, child to child. Mm-hmm. So it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for the history there. There was so many things were changed right at that time. Yep. And then again in the 50s, right after the Second World War. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So beautiful. Yeah.
So we're excited about this. There's still conferences going on. I went to one in 2018 in Las Vegas. They had one more in Las Vegas. They've had them in Germany. One guy is putting one together for Portugal. And I've been invited to be a speaker in the one in February in Botswana, Africa.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, travel.
Yeah, for sure. What fun. Yeah. Go ahead, Jessica.
No, go ahead, Carla. You go ahead.
Well, I was just, one of my clients lived in Australia, and he was saying that on the beach, a lot of women would bring bottles of urine with them and soak their hair on the beach and then rinse it out in the seawater. What does that do? What are they aiming for with that? Do you know?
Rich, thick, lustrous hair. Maybe if they do it a little bit deeper, they're wanting healthier brain power because it soaks into the cranium and soaks into the brain. What's interesting is some people will leave it to dry because the ammonia smell, which is part of the conversion from urea, it outgasses. It evaporates over time. Sometimes it's an hour. I walk around. I'm taking baths twice a day. It's an old practice of mine. And I've got one of these. Everybody should have one of these on the ledge of their bathtub. So while you're in there, you can do all kinds of protocols, and you can even do your face, your hair, and so forth. And then I go walk around. My housemate and my friends don't even notice.
Well, I tried it in my hair for a while as I don't think I used shampoo. I think I just washed it with urine and rinsed it out. And I went to the hairdresser. So maybe 6 weeks later or something, after I'd been doing it for my first cut since I started doing it. And he didn't like it at all. I don't know. Just this look on his face was, I didn't tell him what I used.
But you don't have to. I mean, here's an interesting fact. By the way, my hair gets darker when I do massages in my hair and my scalp. And would you say this is a nice color hair for a guy who's 70?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So urea is one of the items you see in skincare and cosmetics and beauty products. You've heard of the word urine?
Mm-hmm.
The eye drop product?
Yeah.
Separate M from the rest of the word. What does it say?
Oh, yeah.
M urine. So these guys needed to get a lot of urine collected in order to stock up and have big corporations and businesses. Guess where they've been collecting the urine from? Porta potties. Porta potties.
No.
Yes. There's two things that collect the urine in the porta potty. There's the seat, and then there's the standing area for the guys, right? Well, I've noticed over the years that when I would stand to use the standing area, that it didn't land in where the blue cup dye was in the toilet. And so what they have is a separate compartment that they can empty and take it and sell it to the cosmetic industry. And, they get more value out of the porta potty than just having people use it and clean it. Interesting. Now,
Wow.
the other source of urine is from pregnant horses, which on one hand might be fine, but on the other hand, they've got to keep these horses constantly pregnant in order to get a certain quality out of the urine. So that's the inhumane side of that industry.
Yeah, interesting. Huh.
Well, I'm hoping to get I don't know if any of you guys have used the compost toilets to where it diverts the urine. And so I think that might be a helpful thing for like the soaking and the different things like that too, to be able to just collect that separately.
Yeah, if there's a way you can collect it and store it.
Okay.
Now, one thing I got used to doing. Where's my supply? I'm in the bathroom. If you couldn't tell, I have these. At some point, I had 7, 8, 10 gallons around the house, and some people will put a date on it so they can look back and go, "Oh, that was September 2022, whatever it is." Right now, on the top here of this lid, some people say, well, they get the black flakes because it corrodes metal. So if you have that in there are new devices, new lids that you can get on Amazon that are made of silicone and wood, so nothing goes in there.
Oh,
that's good. Now,
right.
So you should leave a lid on it if you store it, or I've heard, like, if you're keeping the age, you could do cheesecloth over it so that the gases. No, a lid. Okay.
Wait. There's two routes you can take. It's personal choice. The reason you put on a cheesecloth, cotton, a nylon stocking, a sprouting bag, coffee filter is so that nothing flies in there. Okay, it's self-sterilizing water, so nothing can contaminate it if it's in there. And so a lot of people, they just screw on the lid because it's already contains oxygen. So it's not going to oxidate like happens with an apple and fruit. So
Okay.
that's why people have had their urine stored for up to 20 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Those are the serious devotees.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Now, if you'll get used to doing your pH strips, you guys know about pH strips?
Mhm.
We do those in my gut cleanse. Yeah.
Okay. See if you can get the one that's rated up to 14.
Okay.
So you get a higher pH reading, and you'll notice that your urine, oftentimes mine is about 8.0. And some people who have cleaned up their diet or have stored it for many years have got it up to 13.
Wow.
So that's your way you can measure it, at least pH version.
Oh, very cool. Does it matter, like different uses, the higher the pH, or how much you should drink or whatever, the higher the pH?
I think that's, it may be part of it, but it's not something that we really focus on. More people, they just focus on, where did I put it in the house? I need to have some right now. And they use it. They're not going to stop and go, let me check the calculations, blah, blah, blah. No, it's very, very simple to use. Now, one of the other things that I would mention, which is also on this Jibambu Wisdom Chart and also in my books, is what's called saturation dosing. Have you ever heard of that in relationship to urine therapy?
No, please explain.
All right, saturation dosing is a way to accelerate your healing process by adding more topical protocols along with the oral use. So whether you're doing an eye soak, a nose drink, nose sniff, ear rinse, enema, fasting, belly button soak, massage, foot soak, all these things drive the urine and all the nutrients directly into the pathway of that organ, while things are being grabbed by the mucosa and getting through the body that way into the bloodstream. You're hitting in all different directions. So the more you can saturate, which means drink more often, do looping. You guys know what looping is?
Mm-hmm.
Every time you collect, when you urinate, you drink it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That doesn't mean you're fasting. Fasting is nothing but the urine in distilled water. So when you start to saturate more, then the body can get rid of toxins quicker. It can drive into the system if you're dealing with chemicals, parasites, stuff in the small intestines, liver, gallbladder. It helps to move things through a lot quicker. And when you get your body strong enough and you feel like you've got a handle on it, then your body you can do saturation dosing as a form of preventative care. Most people are racing to get their health back right now. So it'd be nice to get to a balance point where you can like ease off on the intensity and enjoy life at a slower pace.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
Are you familiar with, I've met Rodney, I forget his last name. He is in Orlando, Florida, I believe. Yeah, the Plasma King. He came to Kansas City in 2021, October, for an event we had.
Yes, he has a terrific story, and
He does.
it changed his life, and he used his name and popularity to spread this message, and I'm grateful that he's out there.
Yeah, good guy.
He doesn't wear shirts much, but that's okay.
He can do it at his age. He's got the advantage there. I know he's doing with a couple others, I think, some like retreats and stuff somewhere in Central America, I believe. So,
right. So there's a lot of outspoken advocates, writers, teachers, folks that I've had the joy of interviewing, like Troy Casey, Amanda Palmer, Kate Stillman. We've all had shows together, Doc Group, Jonathan Otto. He's bringing me back for a third interview this afternoon. So we're going to do another document.
Wow. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been terrific to collaborate with some of these what I call them Shibambu superstars, and they're willing to put their reputation, their name, and their self out publicly, with all kinds of censorship and all kinds of insanity going on our planet. Most of us feel like we have a pillar of protection around us, like the armor of God. And I've not had any threats on me. It's as much as I've been in front of cameras out publicly, even hosting tables in downtown Boulder, Colorado. We did a table, and it was so much fun because I'm using my life now as a teaching device. So what happened was I got a permit from the city of Boulder, Colorado, because we have a nonprofit. We set it up. We brought out the tables. 3 of my students were there. 1 of them filmed. We put out books and literature, and in 4 hours there was 35 guests that came by, 35, and only 3 hecklers. So if you know what this is, and you figure like this is important enough to get behind and take a stand for, you try all kinds of things you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah,
For sure. Wow.
well, I think it's inspired me. I'm gonna have to try it out.
Do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I did the first time. It was down the hatch.
Tell Carla when you took your maiden voyage, or tell me, and we'll keep it between us.
Very good. All right, I got my husband to try it, but he did it for maybe a week and then he quit. He just can't get over the mind thinking of it. But anyway, so I'll have to work on that.
You just take your time with them. What they're looking for is they're watching how you get younger and more beautiful.
That's it. That's right. I think.
Well, I was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Carla.
I feel better overall, right? So it's been 8 months, 6 months now, something like that. And I feel better overall, even though today doesn't really show it because I had something else on my mind. But in general, I'm calmer, although it doesn't show right now today. But I feel good. I feel better. I can't put a finger on how it is. I feel better. But I do more, more vitality, I guess, in general.
Well, also look for this, guys. Notice if you have more curiosity about discovering new things. Notice if you're still in play mode. Notice if you still see life as an adventure and you want to engage with your friends. Notice if you're getting closer to people that you love. Notice if the quality of your life keeps growing and growing. You can say, thank you, Urine, Shibambu, or you could say, thank you, Creator. And, the insights will come. The knowing will come.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
I will do that. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. I was going to ask you your age because I feel like as a 47-year-old female, where I'm at, there's so many people getting Botox and all the different injections and or trying all the different creams, and I'm not doing any of it. And I've even had a couple very well-meaning friends, nurses, who have said, if I could just get you right there, I think they could help me out because I've got the little lines there, and I'm like, I'm not doing it, but maybe this will help me out and give me that youthful look that I'm looking for.
It will, if that's your intention. And what's on the outside is going to reveal your self-love and self-appreciation.
Yeah.
How well we take care of ourselves. People see that, whether you don't have to say a thing about it. One thing I want to add is that if people ask me if this heals everything, I'm going to answer yes and no. And the reason I do that, because there's 4 areas of health that have to be brought into balance. You guys remember the holistic health model before we were called wellness practitioners. Okay. So what that means the 4 pillars of health, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, need to be woven together in a perfect balance, a homeostasis, so that everything works right. emotional wellness, spiritual development, positive state of mind, working out your old patterns and your belief systems. All that really boosts that up and gives you more passion for life.
Yeah.
So you can't skip this, because some people, they'll work on the physical and they'll be all buffed up and they'll work really hard, but they still got some old memories and some old triggers, or people are rich and they're unhappy. So it all has to balance out.
Yeah. You got to start somewhere, though. That's what I tell people. Start wherever you're most comfortable, whatever area you're most comfortable starting in, and then the rest will follow through if you're open-minded to it. So.
Yeah, good suggestion. So there's one more part.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I published an article back in 2006 entitled "Your Sacred Living Food, Your Spiritual Path, and Your Urine Therapy Will Not Save You from Your Mind." And what that means is, we have a choice to either be physically immortal or have aging be predominant in our lives and illness and so forth. And I noticed that the people who work out the misery of their soul, the self-hatred, the victimhood, and all that stuff that drains our energy are more excited about life and have more life force. They have more vitality. So I always bring in physical immortality so that people don't have to battle the life-death conversation all the time, and they're 100% pro-life in terms of living a long time.
Interesting.
I couldn't help it. I had to throw that out there.
No, I'm glad you did. I do, and I specialize in ancestral clearing in my energy healing work. And so my thought, when you had said pro-life, my thought goes to, all the ancestors that I help transition. It's like the vast majority of people die and stay in the realm of nature around us, and they don't have what they need right away to go to the oneness, as I call it, go to the next realm. And I've learned the things they needed, and I had written just one book, and that talks about those, what the ancestors need. But so this is a huge question that I doubt if maybe you do know, or at least if you don't know, please share your opinion. So if I find that so many ancestors for millennia really have gone to nature instead of going to the oneness directly from life to life, or at the very least from death to life, right? Then do you think if all of them would have done urine therapy or in therapy, do you think most of them maybe did, and they still end up in the waiting place, as I call it? Or do you have any idea what your thoughts on that?
Well, first I would say that we don't know the course of a soul's destiny. We don't know its patterns, their lessons, and the extent of how they're going to live. I do know that the people who are optimistic, positive, and passionate about their life seem to live longer.
Mhm.
And it seems that the people who are unhappy and they spend more time trying to figure out what's going on in the world instead of trying to figure out what's in their heart and their soul, have a much better chance of making it. The same with what's playing out on the planet right now. If it's a big battle between love and fear, light and dark, which side do you want to be on? I don't want to be on sides. I want to, very involved with, committed to supporting the life and the health and the happiness of all souls. And so I think we're all doing the same thing anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why you have these great shows.
It's lovely. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to add? Or Rainey or Jessica, any last thoughts for questions for Brother Sage?
Where can everybody find you?
Thank you.
easily?
There's several locations, and one is brothersage.com. The other one is our nonprofit site, which is shivambu.org. And we've also developed two major structures for the worldwide movement. One is the Water Family Directory. So you can find a urine therapy teacher or therapist, and that's located at brothersage.com. And last but not least, we have the shivalifestyle.com superstore, all your accessories, supplies, and equipment at the Shiva Lifestyle store. So it's a great place to go and find your neti pots and eye cups and foot soaks and cool things like a nebulizer where you can switch the urine into vapor, and then you can use it, kind of like a vaporizer and take it
Nice.
in.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, that would be, we nebulize colloidal silver or hydrosol silver, however you say it, when we're real sick or, which hasn't been for a long time.
Right.
But I would feel a lot more comfortable doing that with urine than putting something, another metal into my body.
Yeah. Well, it's a great invention. You put in about a third of the urine in the chamber on the top. And then it runs through a mesh. It's called a mesh nebulizer. It's handheld. And then it converts it into vapor or gas. And with that, it's smaller particulates, so it can get into your nose and your brain quicker. You can get down your throat quicker. You can feather it over your eyes or exfoliate your skin with it. It's just a wonderful device to include in your protocols equipment.
So is it battery operated or?
This one is either battery, USB port, or wall socket.
Okay. Well, interesting. Very, very cool. I love all your information. It's so fun, and you are so fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
While we're still having on here, I'm going to put my little banner on the bottom here to help people like and subscribe for us, to help grow us on YouTube and help get the word out on Urine Therapy. So I think we'll end there for today. And so thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
And
Aloha.
Aloha.